Yo, 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 welcome in. Take notes, grab a pen. Welcome to another episode of the Honorable Marvin Coop Show, starring me, Chef Marv. No lie, I'm that guy. And this is a fun treat for y'all. We are doing pay-per-view rewinds. And today's show is about one of the greatest pay-per-views I've seen, the 2011 Money in the Bank. And here with me today is my man, Aundre the Sports Junkie, and my guy, Jojo. What's up, fellas?
What's going on, man?
Just happy to be back on the show. It's been a minute. Been seeing the work that you've been putting in as well, both of you. So,
Appreciate
man,
it.
please go hit that
Appreciate
like
it,
and
man.
subscribe.
Also, people, me and JoJo gonna have a treat here soon. I will be challenging him to Madden soon, and I
Uh-oh.
have, I have, I asked him the other day on Instagram if, he had the five, and he said the magic words. Yes, he does. So we will be making that happen. I might lose, but I don't care. It's all good. I might lose, but I don't care. I always love a good, fun game of Madden, college. It don't matter. So
Oh
I'm,
yeah.
I'm gonna be with it. So look out for that soon, man. So this,
Okay.
um, like I said, the 2011 Money in the Bank pay-per-view rewind show, and this was JoJo. This was picked by my man JoJo here. So I'm gonna let him start it off, and then we're gonna go match by match. Of course, the winners.
hmm
Key favorite moments of the match, least favorite moments of the match, the worst match. We're gonna rank each match, and then we're gonna rank the pay-per-view after that.
Okay.
Like I said, y'all, I hope you enjoy. Please like, comment, and subscribe, share, and everything. So, JoJo, set it off, brother.
All right, boom. So 2011 Money in the Bank.
Mm-hmm.
Probably arguably one of the best pay-per-views I've seen in my life. You had the main event, which was electrifying between Punk and Cena. Punk was obviously was the heel, but he was treated like a face in his hometown. And Cena was entering yet another hostile crowd. It wasn't as bad as the ECW one night stand in '06, but it was
Mm-hmm.
hostile. They weren't rocking with Cena. The co-main event between Edge and Christian was elite in my opinion. Christian and Randy, I don't want to spoil, but the little DQ thing happened and a title change, and you just had Randy just like crashing out. That was elite in my opinion. And then you had the Raw's Money in the Bank ladder match.
Mm. All right, so that was a
That
brief,
was something.
yeah, the brief introduction there.
It was good
So,
though. The match was
but
good, but
it was
the winner though.
the only reason why I'm gonna say this is because SmackDowns set it off.
Yeah.
Usually, me and Dre done these WrestleMania ones. From a
hmm
huge difference from boring matches being start off on these pay-per-views to this
hmm
iconic uh one being started off with, set it off with. And I keep forgetting that you had the high flyers, Sin Cara,
Yeah.
Justin Gabriel. Heath Slater got on my nerves, but he was really, once he left
hmm
way underweight in impulse, he was starting to become that guy that you wouldn't mind seeing him in the match. And then all of a sudden you had the emergence, the small emergence of Cody Rhodes once he left Legacy. Once he was on his own, he wasn't going to be forgot like the young Ted DiBiase boy. And then of course the guy who started it all, Mr. Daniel Bryan, the winner.
Go.
So by far the first match, in my opinion, was a 10 out of 10. To have
hmm
so much excitement going on in this match. And to be honest with you, I felt like they could have left Kane out this match. He was sort of like the boring part. Like, and when I'm watching it last night, I was like, why was he in this match? I'm just sitting here just like cracking up, man. So
Yeah.
what are y'all thoughts? Let me go to Dre first and then JoJo,
All
I got you. So
right.
what you think, Dre, about the SmackDown Money in the Bank?
So for the SmackDown Money in the Bank,
Yeah.
for me, I thought I liked it just because you had number one, you had Sheamus power bombing Sin Cara off the
Mm-hmm.
apron, crashing through a ladder. And then for me, and then the winner out of all people, I was not expecting it to be Daniel Bryan. And
Mm-hmm.
that's, to me, at that time, I felt like that was what WWE was trying to. Everyone had an idea of who was probably going to win, but they threw a curveball and threw Daniel DB in there to
Right.
pull that win off. And I thought that was letting Daniel Bryan get that win was like, okay, finally, the man's going to get the push.
Exactly.
He was a former United States champion before that, long reigning champion. If I stand corrected, right, Jojo? Before he lost it,
So
he was
yeah.
the U.S. champion for quite a while.
Yep, he was. He was.
Um, but no, me, I liked the match. I liked it. I liked who came out on top as the winner. And you mentioned Kane. I get that. I'm right with you on that, Marv. I think the main issue though with that, well, not issue, but I think the reason why Kane was there, you got to realize leading up to that, Kane had been in so many Money in the Banks in his career. He won one in 2010. So I just feel like it was more so we'll put Kane there because of his experience and how many matches he's been in.
Yeah, and I don't take that
Yeah.
from him. I don't mean to cut you off, JoJo. I don't take that from him. It's just the fact that his performance was like weak,
Slow, yeah, he
kind of
looked a
like
little
slow.
sluggish.
After you, it's like I expected him to do more. You know what I mean? But yeah, go ahead, JoJo. I'll take the away once you're done.
All right, so if I had to rank this match, I'd give it an 8. This is like the only reason why I give it an 8 because it kind of started off slow.
Yeah.
Then the spots started picking up, and he mentioned Sin Cara getting powerbombed through a ladder. That was probably the peak of the match, and then it just started picking up from there. I really liked the winner, but I wouldn't have been mad at that time if Cody would have won it.
Yeah.
Especially the run he was on.
Dashing.
I really
Hmm.
think that dashing and undashing gimmick, I really think he could have been a world champ on SmackDown. Like because
Yeah.
like if you look at it, a lot of the prestige wrestlers was on Raw at the time. You had Cena, you had Punk, you
Hmm.
had those guys, and like when you look at SmackDown and the World Heavyweight Championship, it didn't have that much prestige compared to the WWE spinning title. So it was like if Cody can't win over there, you put him on SmackDown. He's one of the hottest heels at the time. Like why not? Um, and the thing with Kane is like he's been in a lot of Money in the Bank matches, but his performance I honestly feel like WWE dropped the ball with Kane booking, like after he took the mask off. I just think that was just a bad move. He really wasn't
Hmm.
booked as like a force like how he was back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Kane was all over the place. His booking was bipolar. Kane didn't even touch another world title until
It
like
sure did he.
2010. Like, if
Sure
you think
did.
about that, that's kind of crazy. Like he never won a Rumble despite having the most eliminations. But it still sucks that his performance wasn't there because like that's when like he really started to slow down. But other
Well,
than that, I really liked the match. Like Justin Gabriel giving cool spots. Cody was doing his thing, but yeah, I think Daniel Bryan was the right move for this match.
Yeah, I agree.
and it's funny that you mentioned that the Kane thing. I think his two greatest, like his three, like real quick, I just want to throw in like his three like best gimmicks to me outside of the number one, obviously the '90s when he first showed up.
Hmm.
Number two, I think '03 was cool with the unmasking because of how
Yeah.
not because the unmasking, but the things that he did, tombstoning Linda McMahon, putting on Shane McMahon's testiculars, he put the pliers on there.
Yeah.
Uh, and then you had 2011, the 2010, 2011 Kane, and I
Mhm.
like that one too, only because of his little heel run that he had as world champion, then feuding with Edge, and I felt like that 2010 Kane, it brought back a little bit of the '03 Kane, just because of how demonic and sick he was.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like I really think like
But he
Kane.
slowed down that year.
Yeah, he slowed down a lot, and it was like obvious. But I just think Kane, they could have did so much more with Kane, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I honestly felt like if they would have kept Kane as a heel the majority of his career, I wouldn't even had a problem with that. But it's just, I had Kane doing all other type of things, and it wasn't just clicking like compared to like his kayfabe brother Undertaker,
Yeah.
Kane didn't really live up to the hype that he was really supposed to be. And it does suck. It honestly sucks.
Hmm.
I can't wait for this next match. Low key.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this. It was like I said, I wasn't disappointed. I'll give it a 8.5. Like I said, because of the excitement of these guys. Pause.
Hmm.
Um, I would have loved to see Cody win too. Just the simple fact is because, like you said before, JoJo, SmackDown was being overshadowed by Randy because of his title, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, I thought, like I said, we'll get to this match later. I thought that he would have retained it, and maybe Cody Rhodes could have won and challenged his mentor to
Oh
a match.
yeah.
That's why I was like, that
That
would
would
have
have
been
been
a
dope.
great storyline. I hated that they did not
And
make
he
that
was a heel
happen.
back then.
Yeah.
Exactly. That I hated that they did not make that happen. I think that would have sold just like that.
And his
But
dashing provoc gimmick was a real heel. Like you
mhm,
ruined my
yeah,
face.
Yeah, like
exactly.
I ain't gonna even lie, like growing up, I hated that dude, bro. Like
It-
I hated a lot of him, but like his cockiness and arrogance. So yeah, like
Knowing what we know
Mm.
now is just hilarious. Like
yeah,
I would really go back in time knowing what we know now.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, most definitely. I
He
agree
came
with
a
you.
long way, bro.
I agree with you. Um, this next one was I don't want to say the wrong thing because my wife watches the show. Um, I enjoyed a little bit of it, but I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say too much. It was some key moments, so I'll give it a 10, but it was boring at the same time. So, oh, y'all can speak on
Marv
this one
trying
now.
not to get in
Yeah,
trouble.
I ain't gonna say too much on it, but yeah, go ahead, y'all. I'll
I,
take it.
I, real honestly, for me, I'm giving it a 7. I did like the match because this is also I'm giving it a 7, but for me, this was the summer of Kelly Kelly. This was
Yeah.
her summer. This is the time when everyone started. She needs a push. She needs a push. She needs to be a champion,
Mm-hmm.
and and rightfully deserved. Rightfully deserved. She earned it. She had to work her ass off to get to that point.
Sure.
But I called this the summer. I called that year the summer of Kelly Kelly because
Yeah.
that this was the summer of her push, and they pushed her, and her opponent. That was a good. I think that was a great challenge for her, opponent wise.
Yeah. Um,
It was literally the summer Kelly Kelly. That's crazy.
I'm a based off
Nah.
looks, I'm gonna give everybody a 10.
That's
Everybody
it.
a 10.
That's it.
Um,
Yep.
like I was like growing up, I was always like I grew up like when Trish Stratus and Lita was like leaving, so it wasn't really like anybody that was like a face of that of the Divas division at the
Oh
time.
yeah, so you didn't get a chance to experience that. Oh damn,
I
JoJo.
caught
Yeah,
the
Trish
ending.
Stratus,
Yeah, you caught the
Yeah, I
Lita.
ending.
caught the ending. Like I literally caught like the ending of Trish and Lita. Like I think it was
Wait,
at Thanksgiving,
you
something like that.
have the network, right? Peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get an opportunity, bro, you can go relive all those years when you have the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. But
So
I
did you
think I
see?
caught.
Did you get a chance to like witness Mickey in them, like Mickey
Oh
James
yeah.
in them?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. That's like when Trish and Lita was
Oh, it
leaving.
was
Like
leaving. Okay. Yeah.
I think that
That's.
was like Trish versus Lita was like a retirement match for Trish.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I see. That's like I caught like the ending, like the year she was leaving. I caught that because like I hated Lita growing up too because of Edge. So so when those two left, you had like Trish and not Trish, Mickey and Kelly like emerging as those girls. I really think like Kelly, like she came a long way. I ain't
Yeah.
gonna lie, like, cause like she was brought in for looks, but like she at least got better at her craft. And then like you got the Bellas that came in, two identical twins. Like we never really seen that in pro
Twin Magic.
wrestling. Yeah, at that time, like I liked them, but like when they used to be like my favorites, like Kelly, like they used to do like the little twin mix up thing. They used to piss me off, and
Mm-hmm.
like But
Like, how
like,
do you not see that?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, bro, like, look, I ain't running that company. Unemployment office immediately. But
Unemployment.
but the thing, like, going back and watching this match, I do think they could have did this on a random episode of like Raw or SmackDown. It's no hate to nobody because, like I said, I like Kelly, Eve, the Bella Twins. It's just it was a fun match for them. Like it was like 6, 7 minutes. Like if you factor in all like the entrances and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
so I think it was pretty good for like for its timing though. But I ain't got much to say, but I'm still gonna give it a 10 just because.
The
Yeah.
looks. And you know what's funny? I'm glad you brought that up too, because when Kelly first emerged, it was on like late '05, early '06 on ECW, and she was
Mhm.
like 19 at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember they only used her specifically for like stripper pole moments. That's the only time they ever like used her, was like for strip tease. And it wasn't until she got on the main roster where Vince was like, we can make something out of you. And that's when she started pursuing her career, uh, taking it more seriously in a wrestling matter. But
Yeah.
ECW, bro, they didn't care. They were like, we're using you for this and this only.
Yeah. Yeah. And bro, ECW was a brand
And
back
that's how
then.
she
It
made her
was.
name.
It was.
Yeah.
That's how she made her name.
Yeah, like I said, 10.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna speak too much more on it because I do love my wife, but damn, I was. Let's just say I did watch it a few times. Oh yeah, I was like, damn. This
Oh,
match, not
here
gonna
we
lie
go.
to y'all, was this next one was fucked up because I had a real bad knee injury
Mhm.
in 2011, and to see
And you see that?
what this fool did brought back some trauma, and I was like I told y'all, I ordered it too, and I was like, ooh, wow. So the Mark Henry and Big Show match, I mean, it felt short. Don't get me wrong.
It was like, yeah, like 6 minutes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it was still, like I said, cool until like, damn, Mark was
Till the
killing me.
ending.
Mark was really trying to kill Big Show for
He said
real.
he couldn't just take the win.
Yeah, he got that chair at the end of the match and put his whole weight on it.
Oh,
Big
I know
Show,
that hurt.
Big Show, I felt that, bro. Pause. I'm with you, bro. I was like, damn.
The way he looked at Mark Henry, the eyes when he looked at him, like, you son
Hmm.
of a bitch.
Yeah.
But that's also that was the start. That was the absolute start of Mark Henry's Hall of Pain.
Yeah.
Because he took Kane out, he took a bunch of other dudes out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that Hall of Pain was no joke. That Mark Henry was on a mission, and Big Show previously had taken him out because he was a heel prior, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I just
So
think like well Mark at that time, man, like he benefited a lot off that Hall of
Hmm.
Fame because like he
yeah,
eventually became the world champ. You know, that was long and well deserved too. But I hated him too, bro. Like I hated him too. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna say I hated him because like growing up, like I seen him put Batista on the shelf for like a year. So that
Hmm.
kind of rubbed me the wrong way because like SmackDown was like without Batista for like a whole year. So like
Whole
you
year straight. Yep.
like Ray and Undertaker and all that. And I really didn't mess with Mark Henry because he used to like the thing with Mark Henry was like if he didn't win a match, oh he taking out timekeepers, referees, commentators,
Hmm.
everybody. I could not stand Mark Henry.
Yeah.
But like as I got noted, like like you gotta appreciate what we see on TV, like with Mark Henry and Big Show, because like they put their bodies through a lot, like especially
They
with
do.
some of the
broke the
spots they
ring.
did. Yeah, like the spots they used to do, and especially at their size, like you gotta give them guys their flowers. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, they used to do a lot of crazy stuff, and but yeah, Mark Henry, yeah, he's one of them ops for real too.
No, yeah. And
he
I never seen nobody kick out the world's strongest slam. So
My
definitely give it
thing
up
is,
to
it's
Big
not
Show
just
for
the
that.
slam; it's that
Yeah.
splash too. Oh
Bro,
my
all that weight
god,
clearing, bro.
that take all
Pause.
the air out of you.
Man, what? I think the
Yeah.
only person I seen the kick out of the wrong or the world's strongest slam,
Taker.
him and Super Cena. That's all I've seen people kick out of. I've never seen nobody else kick out of. He even put Randy down with that, so that finisher was protected too. So
Hmm. But I
And
get that.
also, you can't exclude Mark Henry has the sickest theme song when he's a
oh
heel.
yes, bro. It's just mafia, bro.
Bro,
Mm-mm.
his 2006 when he first debuted with that like little rock song, like it was cool. But when he debuted the song that he has now, I was like, oh, this dude's a menace.
I ain't gonna even lie, bro. I got this song on my playlist right
Me
now, man.
too,
I love that song, bro. Like I'm like when I be at the gym, I be lifting.
bro.
Then you hear 3-6 Mafia. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-mm. Yeah, I give it a match of 5. That's looked
Yeah,
like a match that could have been on Raw for
I'm gonna
real.
yeah.
give it I'm gonna give it a 4.
Yeah,
Like I just that match it's probably if I'm being real, probably the worst match on the card.
it
I'm not
was.
gonna lie.
It
Yeah.
was. And to the previous match you said, sounds a little sexist, but I don't care. So yeah, I give that match just because they had to put women's match on these
Yeah,
pay-per-views.
They
So
needed at least one.
that
yeah.
match they could have kept and probably which we'll get to this one. Uh we'll get to the one after this, but we'll do the Raw one right now.
And,
So
and real, oh my bad.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say back to your point real quick, Mark, because you just
Hmm.
made mention that they only put, they just needed a women's match to fill up the card.
Hmm.
I think the way the women are used now, like I see, like so for example, like my friend's cousin, he interprets the women in WWE 2K25 at least once.
Hmm.
But I was like, man, I wish because when we were growing, me, you, Jojo, when we were all growing up, women wrestled matches, but if you weren't like a Lita or a Trish, you were only used for like because of how you looked.
Yeah.
And I blame that for me not because my friend goes, bro, why don't you ever use women on your match card? And I'm like, I've tried to. I'm so used to not using them because that's how we grew up. If you weren't a Lita or Trish status or Trish Stratus, if you weren't on their status, you were just used for looks at that time.
And like the thing is, back at that time, bro, like you said, if you wasn't Trish Lita, not really getting a real match like that. Cause like when you had women like Michelle McCool, you had Layla,
Right?
Sadie, you had Kelly, you had Chrissy Hemme for a little bit, you had Tori. They was all used for sex
Don
appeals.
Marie.
Don Marie, all of them was used as sex appeals and eye candy. That's all they were meant to be until Michelle McCool broke out on SmackDown and she started doing her thing. And like
Yep,
I applaud,
Maria.
yeah, Melina, Marie, like I applaud all of
Marie's.
them.
Oh my
Hmm.
god.
I applaud all of them, bro, because like they put in the work, they got better in their ring craft, they actually started having matches. So yeah, I give all my flowers to them ladies for real, because they
Yeah.
deserve like they really. If it weren't for them ladies, I don't think the women's division would be what
Is
it is.
what it is. Yeah. And
Yeah,
also if you want to start talking like hardcore style, Victoria back in '02, there was like a hardcore match between her, Don Marie, Sable. And then 2011, like you said, they were starting instead of using it as an eye candy, they started using so like Natalia. I remember TLC that pay per view when they had a women's table match. That
yeah,
was the start of letting them get more hardcore each time. Then it led to a Hell in the Cell at some point with Sasha Banks. So
yeah,
like you said, shout out to those women because they really, helped pave the way.
That's true.
yeah,
That's true. So we got the Raw, the 8-man Raw Money in the Bank
Ooh.
ladder match,
8 superstars seems like a lot.
which is funniest part was the beginning when they all started off with a ladder. Um, it was I'm not gonna lie. So let me ask y'all this before we rate it and talk about this one. No, matter of fact, let's talk about it first and then I'll ask you afterwards. So go ahead, Jojo.
the wrong person won. I'm gonna be real. Their real shouldn't have won. I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh no.
outside of him like wrestling. I just don't really like him. Like He's up there with Hogan and Benoit for me. I don't like. I genuinely
You
don't.
boy, hold on,
I
Oh,
hold
don't
on,
like.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
No, I don't like him, man. I'm sorry.
No, you.
And then he has
I
like
hold on, hold on.
allegations.
Time out,
Uh-uh.
time
Uh-uh.
out. I cannot put Del Rio with Hogan. I despise Hogan.
Oh yeah,
Del Rio is something I don't like him, but he is a funny ass person.
him and Ricardo Rodriguez, Julio Rodriguez.
I can't put
he
him up
was
there with the
way
Hogan though.
better than Del Rio. But this the reason I didn't like Del Rio because like I don't know if y'all know, but like him and Paige was like in a relationship.
Oh yeah,
And
he was an
Yeah.
asshole. He was an asshole.
yeah,
But
he
here's the
used to
thing,
beat the
JoJo.
crap out of him.
And I don't want to bring up like R. Kelly situation. I don't
Yeah,
know them personally in their personal lives. I know what they do for entertainment wise.
Yeah.
right.
You know, what they do on their personal time is them. As long as I don't gotta witness it or nothing like that, that's cool. But what you do for the entertainment side, yeah, cool.
Oh,
But
he
as
like
far as
outside.
like the goofiness of him, I'm like, yeah, the real is okay. And
He's a multi-time world champ.
he had a few moments in his career where I was like that. So I can't put him up there with Hogan. But go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
I ain't gonna lie, like outside of like the stuff that happened outside of wrestling, I always hated Del Rio. Like he's
Yeah.
like never been good. I always feel like his push was forced. Like
Uh-huh.
especially at that time when like you had Kofi and Ray on Raw, like you
Mm-hmm.
could let one of them win. Like you know, like even R-Truth with
And
that
that
look
was his little Jimmy phase.
yes, like they were entertaining. Like the only thing about Del Rio that pop was his presentation, and like
Uh-huh.
he used to pull
His
up in different
cars.
clips. Yeah, like I used like as a kid, I'm like, all right, this nigga cool, like with the cars, but like when that bell rang, I did not like Del Rio. Like I didn't like compared to his ring announcer. Like you go back and watch some of his ring announcer old matches in Mexico, way better than Del Rio, and it's kind of crazy that we never really got to see Ricardo. What's his name? Julio Ricardo? Something like
Yeah.
Ricardo Rodriguez.
Yeah.
yeah, Ricardo. We never really got to see him like actually cook in a ring in WWE, so I felt like we kind of missed out on that. But Del Rio was the wrong winner. You had
But
R.
then again, my bad. I was just gonna say, but then again, look at the. I mean, you got Evan Bourne, who's not really world championship material at that time. You got Jack Swagger. He already won Money in the Bank the year prior, became a world
Yeah.
champion on Randy Orton, which is still mind baffling to me. I mean, like you said, the only real winners that you really could have had outside of Alberto was Ray, Kofi, or
R.
yeah,
Truth.
I mean, maybe the Miz
No,
This
hell
might be a
no.
hot take.
because he
This
was
might be a
hot. He
No,
was he was
no.
rolling back then.
Alex could have
he
won.
was, he was, he was.
Alex Riley.
Alex Riley, that could have been the start of Alex Riley for real.
He got stuck backstage for the
But you
season.
talking about somebody missed out on the opportunity. We missed
Alex
out on Alex
Riley,
for real.
A Rye.
I think A-Rod could have been him. I ain't gonna lie to you, man.
He
I
got
even
on
made
Cena
him
bad
in
side, man.
WWE 12. I remember I made him a US champion, then I bolted him up to a world champion. I thought he had that like potential.
Oh,
No,
his theme song was so good, bro.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right, A-Rod was really like,
Damn,
But
Alex
yeah.
Riley. Holy shit.
I think we missed out on the one too,
but
Jojo.
this
I ain't
may
gonna
be
lie.
a hot take.
Mm-hmm.
I think Evan Bourne could have won the Money in the Bank briefcase. Because hear me out, hear me out,
Well,
hear me out.
he could have. He could have.
If Jack Swagger wins the Money in the Bank briefcase and cash in on somebody who has like no disrespect to Jack, but he has personality of a painted wall. Compared to Evan Bourne, who's a high flyer and he's
Mm-hmm.
cool in the ring. If Jack Swagger can be a world champ, why can't Evan Bourne be a world champ? I'm just saying. I'm
You
just
know what?
saying.
You're right because when Jack won it, he look who he cashed in on, Randy Orton.
I didn't even know I don't even remember him doing that.
That's how
Wait,
boring. That's how
it
boring that
was
shit was.
it was I actually no, I think it was either Randy because I know Chris Jericho and Edge were feuding at that time too.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, no, it was Randy. It was Randy because they had a match at Extreme Rules.
Oh, brother. Oh, I'm not going back and rewatch it because I'm gonna end up raging and punching
Mm-hmm.
something.
Yep. Yeah,
But that's
Jack
what I'm
Swagger
saying.
took the title from Randy and then beat him in the rematch at Extreme Rules. And I was like,
Oh no.
The reason
No.
why I say is this because I had his story pretty much written already. Rye could have won it. Probably could have became a champion. Then he could have beat that so-called annoying mentor of yours, The
The
Miz.
Miz.
That could have been a good storyline that could have went on for at least a couple months, it long itself.
I agree.
So that's why I'm like, I feel like we missed out on that opportunity, and he missed on this opportunity to be a
Yeah, but
superstar.
and at that time too, I kind of felt like Del Rio's push was kind of forced.
It
Forced, yeah.
was, it
I
was, and
think
like
it
we
was
said, we'll
forced.
we'll get to it at the end of it too. But all I'm saying is, who is writing the script for some of these fools? Like they
Yeah.
missed out on a lot of these people.
They
Like you
did. They
said, you
did.
missed out on Evan Bourne. You missed out on Rodriguez, who could have been probably
Mhm.
a good superstar. You missed out on A-Rod. You missed out on Sin Cara. That's what I'm saying. These are good names here.
I
These
remember when
are
Sin
good
Cara
names
first.
that could have been championship
I
material.
ain't
That's
gonna
what I'm
lie.
saying.
Y'all finna call me crazy, but Sin Cara was ass. I'm
But I'm
sorry.
just saying, that's what I'm saying. Who wrote that story though, JoJo? They could have
Vince
made it better. They
McMahon.
could have made it better though. All I'm saying is
Yeah.
this. So whoever wrote that story for him made him ass. I'm thinking he could have been something like another maybe taller Rey Mysterio type deal. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Because
And
at
when
that
he,
y'all got to remember. Hold on, Dre. Y'all got to remember. At some point, we thought Ray was going to retire. At this point,
Yeah.
and Sin Cara could have taken that throne from him. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. Who is writing these scripts for these people? Because they doing a shit show job. Just saying.
Yeah.
and with Sin Cara too, and I remember when he first burst onto the scene, his first like 3-4 matches, I was like, oh, this dude is lit. Like,
Yeah,
oh, this, like, I'm not missing any of his matches. But then, like Marv said, it gets to a point where if you keep writing the same shit, it's gonna get watered down at some point.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
It
then a
was
lot of his like his Spanish fly moonsault off the top rope, it was cool for a little bit, but like I said, they didn't do anything with him. They kept him. They just kept doing the same thing over and over again. There was nothing new to him.
yeah. It was like with Sin Cara, like you said, when he first popped up, I thought he was cool as a kid, like,
yeah,
seeing somebody
Mm-hmm.
flipping and all that, but like I recently like went back and watched some of his matches. I was like, oh, he's not really that good. And
yeah,
and it was weird too because like as a kid, I was like, yeah, he's the next Ray. But it was like when I went back and watched like a couple of months ago, I was like, some like he used to botch a lot of moves, and I mean
Yeah.
everybody botches
mhm,
moves, but like when you actually watch it, he's botching a lot of moves. Like it was bad.
yeah. I
Like I
agree.
really do think he could have been like they could have put like a mid card title on him.
They
Like
could have. I
Like
think
the
they could have.
Intercontinental or the United
yeah,
States.
I agree.
But back to the Raw Money in the Bank. You said JoJo, I agree with you. Wrong winner, especially him getting smacked in the face by that ladder. I'm like, oh, he ain't got no choice for winning. He ain't got no chance in hell
Yeah.
of winning. But I give this match 6. Not gonna lie to you, just because of the winner alone. Like I said, the key moment was when they started off with the ladders entertainment. It was a
Hmm.
good entertainment match. I ain't gonna lie to you. I felt Kofi would have, his performance was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Evan could have done a little more, in my opinion. Evan could have done a little more too. Because
Yeah.
at this point,
his shooting star off the ladder was pretty
Oh,
dope.
that
yeah,
was
at this
nasty.
point, I was thinking, especially back in the day when I was first watching it, that them two was gonna be the key players in this match. For real, for real. Just like you said with the SmackDown one. The reason why I gave that match a 10 was because I felt like Daniel Bryan wasn't the only one talking in all the promos but leading up to the match, you had all them other fools who was like really talking some hot shit, especially Heath Slater, little garbage ass. I'm like, come on, bro, why are you talking? But I felt like that match got a 10 because Daniel really, wasn't on that shit. He's like, I'm gonna show you motherfuckers better than I can tell you. But in this one, like you said, wrong winner. I give it a 6. But our truth was cool. Swagger was cool. Like I said,
Little Jimmy.
I felt like they missed out on A-Rob, in my honest opinion. But like I said, I'll give it a 6 just in case.
Honestly, I think it's me. I'm gonna go with this. I give it a 7 because they had some good spots in there, like the EB move off the ladder. Kofi with his performance seems like Kofi in those types of situations can always put on like a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I pop me personally, I give it a 7.
Yeah.
I do want to point out it was funny what R-Truth did. He came out with no theme music, right? That
Yeah,
little all that was funny. That made me laugh. That was
He
funny,
What'd
but
you say, little Jimmy?
he was a clown, man.
yes, man.
He was a
But
clown.
like seven, I think the match was. I don't think it was better than the SmackDown tag, well, the SmackDown ladder match at all.
Right.
Wrong winner. I feel like at that time, I think Ray. I don't even know if Ray had won the WWE title. I think that was before like all that happened on Raw, like when he that
Yeah,
tournament.
that was I think that was after the Miz lost the title, so that was in like
Yeah.
Yeah,
late 2010, early 2011.
yeah. So I think Ray could have benefited. Kofi, Evan, a heel or truth. I just didn't like if either one of them would have won, it probably would have been a little higher, but the wrong person won, so that's why I'm giving it a seven.
I'm a the only reason why no, never mind. Uh didn't Ray take some time off though?
I
Uh,
well, you know what?
Didn't he take some time off?
think so.
I think he did.
Because y'all got to remember, he was still in that grief of Eddie, and I know Eddie had died like 6 years prior to that. But you got to remember, he took time off, and I don't think he was in his right state of mind to even be champion at that point. That's why I'm looking like, wait a minute, hold on.
Because if you
I
think
think Ray had
about it,
just came back, like
I think so.
So
well,
yeah,
because if you
because he
guys
took a couple years off after Eddie's death, because he was
Because I
like
think
really torn about that.
because he was on SmackDown, and I think
And then he got to Raw when they did that draft. That's
yeah,
when he
Mhm.
because
came back. Yeah, that's when
yeah,
he
because
came back.
that's when he was the world champ on SmackDown, and Kane
Hmm.
beat him, and then that's when Undertaker came back, and they did the Kane and Undertaker thing one more time, and I think because we
Oh
didn't
yeah,
see Ray on SmackDown for like a hot minute.
for a
yeah.
while.
That
Yeah,
Well,
oh,
when
that
he did,
vegetative state shit.
yeah,
he said,
That was the
"Marv,
worst
clip that,
storyline I've ever saw in my life.
clip that." That was hilarious.
Yes, the
And you know what it is? I will say WWE kind of hold. Well, I'm not kind of. They did hold Rey Mysterio, and I get it. I know who John Cena is. I get it. But what
yes,
made
yeah.
me mad was that's when the Miz was in that quarterfinal, was in the finals against Rey Mysterio. Remember they did a tournament for the WWE Championship.
Hmm.
Rey Mysterio ended up winning it and then lost it like an hour or two later when Cena shook his hand. I was like, y'all
I'm
couldn't
like,
give that man at
yeah,
least a month.
And that was embarrassing too. That was
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
that was embarrassing.
That was BS because like we
It
never
was.
actually had like a Ray WWE title run.
No,
He
we
actually
didn't. We got
wins.
All
robbed
his
for that.
runs were cash ins. Kane cashed in on him the night he won it
Yeah,
at Fatal Four Way or
That was
Money in the Bank. And then this.
yeah, we
yeah,
were
and it was
robbed
like
a few
it was,
times.
and it was so like to me. I felt like if I'm Ray, I feel like that's a slap in the face because like I've been putting in all this work. I've been on SmackDown pretty much my whole career, winning the World Heavyweight Championship. I get the Raw, I win the WWE title, and I drop it in the hour. Like it is no disrespect to John Cena because he's the GOAT. But my thing is, you have him win it and on a random episode of Raw. You have him drop it on a random episode of Raw. Like, why couldn't y'all let this man hold it at least a month or two, and then y'all have Cena beat him at a pay-per-view? That's the route y'all wanted to go. But I
That's
just feel like
crazy.
it was disrespectful, and I think that was probably like the final straw for Ray, and that's why he ended up leaving. And I don't
Hmm.
even
And
blame because like that was
I don't
disrespectful.
blame him.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
crazy. That was
And
crazy.
that was just so crazy to me. I was like, just because, like you said, no disrespect to John because he is the GOAT, but it's like, I remember going to school that next day and my friend was like, yo, who's booking this crap? I'll never forget that. I was like, I don't know because everyone wanted Ray to win. When he beat The Miz 1, 2, 3 and got it, I remember
I was
the
happy.
arena erupted because they were like, finally, Ray's going to get what he deserves. And then they
Yeah.
went and pulled this. When Cena shook his hand, my friend was like, I knew it was over. I knew it.
And the thing is, like, what makes this even funnier? Because like I was probably the biggest John Cena fan growing up. So me and I don't know if y'all noticed, but me and Jay Will we graduated school with each other, like same class and everything. It
Hmm.
was we was outside on recess, and so I'm happy. And Jay Will was like, "Bro, get out my face." I'm like, "Bro, why?" He's like, "Man, John Cena beat Rey Mysterio." You know? And, like it was so funny because like he like every kid pretty much loves Cena, but a lot of kids love Ray because of his moves. So I'm like rubbing in Jay Will face out like nah, and you know all that teasing him, but it's like, man, like that was disrespectful.
There was,
That was very disrespectful.
man. This match here,
The way you sounded when you said this match here. Oh
it
no.
just took me back to the one more match, and that pissed me off so bad. Christian was the dumbest heel
Heel.
I've ever seen in one of my like the whole wrestling I've been watching. And for
The
you
way
to
it
put
ended.
that, the way you put that gay shit in there with the contract signing was by far diabolical. And by far, this was the most boring matches. And I even went back to the Big Show and Mark Henry match. I was like, yeah, this match was better than this gay shit right here. And what you said earlier was probably the best part was Randy beating him up at the end.
Yep.
Was probably like the best I've ever seen. But the match was boring. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. This is gonna be a hot take, man. Randy Orton and Christian's Money in the Bank 2011 match is by far ranked 2 because it was garbage. The disqualification was bad. The contract you let by far you letting this idiot bum put that stipulation in the contract was by far diabolical. Y'all set Randy up for failure. That match is a 2 out of 10. Garbage. Hot ass. Overly ass. Shouldn't have even been on the card. You could have put that on the SmackDown. And that's garbage as SmackDown was back in the day. Y'all could have got away with that. That could have been the highlight of a SmackDown episode. So y'all
I
fucked
ain't
up.
gonna lie.
And
I'm
what
not
They,
the biggest fan of it. I'm gonna
yeah.
give it a 5. It was like it was okay. I just feel like the ending was stupid. Like I like as a
It
kid seeing
yes.
it,
Yes, it
and
was.
Randy wasn't even the heel and he threw that low
that's what I'm
blow.
saying. Like it was so
Exactly.
stupid, man. When I seen it as a kid, man, I stormed out the house. I just stayed outside for a little minute because like it genuinely
Mm-hmm.
like pissed me off because it's like,
Yeah.
all right, man, like I just seen Randy slap the referee
The
to
title.
retain his title.
Mm-hmm.
Till this man low blows Christian because he spit in Randy's face.
Yes, the spit was
Like that
disrespectful.
was like it was so stupid, and it was like, bro, like it made Randy look stupid until like he just started beating his ass at the end, which was well deserved because like he brought that part, he brought
He
that
did that
out
to
of Randy.
himself.
Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like, bro, like, and it was like, man, like, I thought we was gonna get like some good graps between Christian and Randy, and it was average, bro. I really think, and it was only like 12 minutes, like, so it was like, all right, we really didn't get enough. Like, if it would have been like 20, 25 minutes, all right, cool. It probably would have been a little higher, but it was like, man, 12 minutes is kind of crazy. I ain't gonna lie.
And what's funny is, so Marv, you said it already, how the ending was. The only reason I gave it a 7 was strictly because of the ass beating that
7.
Randy gave him. No, it was only because of the ass beating that he gave him. That's the only reason why I gave it to him. Nothing else was in that match that made me
You
happy. But
you just pretty much added the 2 plus 5 that we just gave our
yes,
ratings. Only you gave
yes,
us. That's
because that
about
beating
that.
was rightfully deserved, and that was, I think I rewinded that ass whooping about 6, 7 times. It took me a minute to get to the main event. But
Yeah.
what pisses me off the most was, well, you already said it. He's not even a heel and he threw a low blow. That's one. Number two, Christian was a bitch of a heel. You got to hide behind lawyers and contracts. You're a
But
hoe for that.
hold on. Isn't
And
it
number,
karma? Isn't it karma? Who did that same shit to Triple H WrestleMania 25?
oh
Who did
shit,
that
that's
same shit?
it.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I understand, and that's why I was like, it kind of was some karma shit to for Randy doing that to Triple H WrestleMania 25. So I was
Well,
Yeah.
the
like, yeah.
rivalry different was different.
Bruh. Bro,
But
that rivalry was so good, man. Oh my
the
God.
thing is, with that, I remember when Edge had even returned, and he said, "When I was a heel," he goes, "Don't get me wrong, I did some heinous things back in my day." He goes, "But when I was a heel, I did things with pizzazz. It's like you put no thought into this." And I was like, I was like, really, Christian? Now their match at SummerSlam was a pretty good one because it was a no
Yeah.
DQ,
Yeah.
but Money in the Bank, man. Back to your point, Marv. Like, who writes half of this stuff? Like, what made you? I get the spit part was disrespectful, but the low blow, I feel like, again, that's more of a heel thing. A good guy he wouldn't do that.
Right.
Unless he's Randy Orton.
Exactly my point.
He said unless he's Randy Orton.
Bro,
Yeah,
that
exactly.
ass beat, bro. Like when I
Yeah.
came back in the house and I just seen Randy just wailing on, I'm like, yeah, beat his ass,
Mhm.
man, beat his
But
ass.
how did the table never break on his RKO's?
I
I
don't
feel like
know.
you're tearing his shoulder when they did that. I'm like, how does that shit not break? And now tables today are reinforced,
Yeah,
so it's even worse.
Mm-mm.
yeah, I agree, man. It's just, man, like I just think that match could have been so better if
Much
that even
better.
wasn't
Yeah.
anything good. If they wanted Christian to like cheat and beat Randy, okay, I would have been fine with it. But y'all had this man spit in Randy Orton's face. You know Randy is a ticking time bomb.
Mhm.
Then had this man kick him in his nuts, and then he drops the title like that. That's probably the weakest stuff I've ever seen in my life. And I don't blame Brandy, because if he would have spit in my face,
Game
I'm
over.
just saying,
Game over.
game over. Restart.
So
He said restart.
this by far greatest matches I've ever seen. Both of them with a lot on the line. And I don't see a heel in this either. I like
No.
Jojo said earlier, it was this point where, hey, you had 50% on CM Punk's side and you had 50% on John Cena's side. By far was, like I said, CM Punk was one of the ones, like I said, so gangster with it. He didn't care. And by far the ending was great because you thought this fool Alberto Del Rio was going to try to get the title back. And the way you went out, and I was gonna put it on my background too. This man blew a kiss to Vince McMahon and bounced on his head. So CM Punk versus John Cena in 2011 Money in the Bank match is by far a 20 out of 10 because the match was damn near 45 minutes.
It was, yeah, it was like 33 something.
And these two kicking out, doing this, doing that, and the way John Cena slapped the shit out of what's his name for running to the ring. What's the old boy name? So,
Laurinaitis.
Laurinaitis, boy.
Who I
My
hated
name
him
is
too.
John
Oh my
I
Laurinaitis.
hated John Laurinaitis, and the way he slapped him like that, I was like, yes, get this bitch ass
people
fool out of here.
power. Like, bro,
But
we don't like that, man.
in the way you kind of costing the match a little bit,
Yeah.
you kind of costed the match. So this man, whoever wrote that, deserved a Hollywood script somewhere because that was well perfect put together, and it kind of saved the night. So I say 10 out of 10. Let me hear y'all thoughts on that.
First of all, I want to say John Laurinaitis' voice was so annoying.
Mm, mm, mm.
No, that was a great match. And the fans, bro, you could feel the atmosphere, bro. I got chill when
Yep.
Punk's music hit, when he came out and the fans started going crazy. I was like, oh, and it's in your
Mhm.
hometown. That's a feeling everyone would want to get.
Yeah, yeah.
But like I said, those two in the ring together are just so they have chemistry.
Right.
They work so well together in the ring. Um, just seeing those two and what the not only was it the main event, but it was for the biggest prize in
Mhm.
wrestling. So that's what makes it better. Then you got Punk's contract coming to an end. You got Cena who's trying to keep the title here in WWE.
Mhm.
Like honestly, it just doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
They're top tier talent, and they're top tier talent for a reason. So I thought that was one hell of a match. John Laurinaitis, his little interference part, him and Vince, where he was trying to screw Bret Hart, he was going to try to do the same. Give that writer his flowers, man. I hope he got a raise for that script because that played out so good. But
Oh yeah.
I think too, before that, it was during remember what he said during the interview before Money in the Bank? He was like, and that's where I had to question, like, is it a shoot? Is it real? When he said, when Vince McMahon dies, you think it's gonna go to someone else, and he goes, but then he was like, oh no, no. When Vince McMahon dies, it's gonna go to his his bean-headed daughter Stephanie, or his. And I was like, damn. So you had a mix of promos, good matches, leading up to that.
Yeah.
I think his pipe bombs is what really put him on the map too.
All right, so I'm gonna give this a 10. Like if this was on like a scale of 100, I'm gonna give it 1,000, bro. Like
Oh
this
yeah.
Yeah.
match, like probably the match of the decade if we keeping it 100. Like this
Mhm.
match, like you had CM Punk with the loud face pop, and you had Cena with the heel pop. Cena came out with the belt around his waist, no emotion or nothing. And I loved it. The match was like around 40 minutes. Like the start and the finish was amazing. You
Mhm.
had John Laurinaitis come out with his stupid people power and all that.
Yes.
Then you had Vince, I just feel like the match capitalized on all cylinders. The
Mhm.
excitement of it, the crowd reaction, everything about the match was good.
Perfect.
Then you had Punk winning the title. Then you had Vince on the little commentary table. Turn this crap off. Turn it off. He said, "Bring out that Rio. Bring out that Rio." And him kicking that Rio in the face. I ain't gonna lie. As a kid, I took my T-shirt off and ran around the house because I always hated him, and to see Punk do that to Del Rio, I was like, oh yeah, this dude goated. Jumped over the barricade and gave us one of the most iconic wrestling pictures of all time. Blew a kiss at Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Absolute cinema.
Perfect.
Absolute cinema. Perfect.
And I
And
bought that T-shirt at one point too.
ooh, I want to find. I gotta find
Oh,
it.
that is dope. Do you still have it?
Uh, it's a little out of size, but yeah, it's up there somewhere.
If you find it, bro, take it. Send me a photo of that. I want to see that. That's
I got you.
lit.
I got you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make another one too. I'm gonna print me another one.
It's just a little out of size, but
Yeah, it's a little out of size. I'm gonna print another one though. I'm gonna print another
but
one.
it's just the fact that I remember whenever Punk and Cena got in the ring on Raw leading up to Money in the Bank, like I would shut up. There
Mm-hmm.
was not a sound because everything they said, it was important, and everything they said matches what's going on with the feud.
Yeah.
And when he called John Cena Vince McMahon's biggest ass kisser of all, I was like, yo, because a little bit of that, I was like, I feel like that's 50-50.
That's
I
true.
feel
Yeah.
like part of it's true and part of it's like, but when he said that, I was like, yeah, Punk is, he knows his contract is up. He knows he's not going to resign. So he was like, I got to make the best out of this. That's why it was really hard for me to tell. Was this a shoot? Was this a, was it plant like that? That is great storytelling at its finest.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, around that time, bit of nut to that, and it's kind of crazy because, like, at that time, Punk called Cena a fraud and a hypocrite, and it's kind of crazy now. Everything Punk said in that promo, he was right because look at Cena now in
Now,
WWE. So it's kind of crazy. So like that callback is crazy. And it's crazy because like he name dropped Ring of Honor and New Japan at the time. Like with Vince in charge, like that was a no-no. So I personally think it was kind of like a shoot and it was kind of a work. Cause like it was times like as a kid,
he
like he
brought
was
Colt Cabana.
yeah, and it was like they will mute his mic. Like I don't know if y'all remember this, they will mute his mic and he will storm out and he'll come back out, grab another mic, and then start talking. So I just think what Punk and Cena they put on, honestly, if we going off of Cena feuds and rivalries, I think Punk is up there.
Oh
Their
yeah.
chemistry, like you got AJ Styles, Punk's chemistry, Edge's, Randy's, like Punk and Cena's chemistry is so good, it's crazy. And it's two different styles. Like you got Punk from the indie background, then you got Cena with his
Mm-hmm.
style, like the WWE style, like
Yeah.
combine it. Like you would think that wouldn't be ideal, but like they proved a lot of people wrong. Like their chemistry is really good.
That's true. That is true.
And that's why I think a lot of people today, even like when you open Instagram, a lot of people are trying to push for Cena's absolute last match in December.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to push it to be Punk and Cena. And I'm like, I mean, that would be nice, but the feud that he's already in with Rollins and that whole group, I was like, by
It won't be
December, I'm not
not
sure.
not now. It won't be. I don't think
This
it will
how
be.
honestly how I feel about that. I really think they should because like I'm gonna be honest, as the biggest Cena fan in the world, like his heel run is just
The who?
his heel run is
No,
not
you said
working.
what you say before that.
What?
The
The
biggest.
biggest Cena fan in the world. Yeah.
You better talk to my little one in there. She can. I think she got a case, bro. I'm sorry, JoJo. She may have a case, bro. I don't know how much John Cena shit I've been bought for her over the years. So yeah, you may have a little argument with that one. So
I may do, man.
But
But
seeing
it's
how
just
the
like
go ahead.
his heel run just
yeah,
isn't doing it. I really wish I really wish sometimes wish Edge wasn't in AEW because like
me
we
too.
already got Randy and Cena again. We need to get AJ and Cena again. I
Man,
personally I personally want Punk and Cena to be Cena's last match because like if you can do that, then you can have Punk and Cody at Mania,
yes,
a long-term effect. So that's why I really hope they do that. Because like I don't care about Cena putting nobody over, but I don't want him to lose his I want him to lose to his longtime rival. That's why I wanted somewhat his last match to be Randy. So,
yeah.
but I don't know, man. It's just
There's
Punk,
so
like
many
all
ways you
that.
can go with that, though.
And you
It's
got to
so many.
realize too, his. I'm glad you brought that up, but I'm gonna say, what are they calling him now? Cope. I think
Yeah,
Edge definitely. I wish he had stayed so that we can get that because we've already, in some crazy form of our lifetime, got a heel Cena versus a face Randy.
yeah,
Um, but also, like you said, Edge and Cena. That was another one that had really good chemistry. Remember their rivalry in '06 over the
yes.
WWE Championship?
Oh,
I
that's
remember him. I
ooh,
remember Edge saying in an interview, he was like, "Hey, I didn't hold the title too long that first run because I was going to start a feud with Mick Foley pretty soon." But he was like standing toe to toe with Cena at Royal Rumble 2006 made me realize, like, okay, so we can give you the ball and you can run with it. We're not going to give it to you yet, but we just want to see how you'll act.
Yeah,
And I think when he went to John Cena's hometown and his dad, who's always Cena's dad loves being in the mix. And when he slapped his dad in Westbury, New Mass, and back at his hometown, walked over his bedroom. Remember when it was the mattresses all over the floor
mhm.
and the. So I think, and the way Edge won his matches with Cena, I think that really used to piss me off as a kid. Like, you
Yeah,
son of a gun, you really used brass knuckles to beat him in Boston at SummerSlam? Okay.
yeah. I hated him, bro. Oh my God, I
Like,
hated
Edge
him.
and Randy, I think, are the two heels that I think have given John Cena the most hell
I agree. And
because
it's
they
kind of
both took
like
his dad out.
yeah,
nah, what Randy did to
He
Cena's
punted
dad,
his dad.
that was murder.
yeah.
That was
Randy
murder,
should be locked
yeah.
up. But I honestly hate Daniel Bryan is in AEW too because we could have got Cena and Daniel Bryan one more time.
Or, yeah,
That-
Daniel Bryanson.
yeah, that would have been great too.
So let's go to the overall rating of the 2011 Money in the Bank. JoJo, since this was your,
Um,
what you got?
Factor in all the matches, Cena Punk stole the show. You had the SmackDown ladder match, Raw ladder match.
Hmm.
I'll give this like a 8.5 or a 9. Like this was a really good show. Like from top to bottom, like the ending of Edge and Christian wasn't really great, but like when Randy just snapped out and just started whooping him, that set the bar for me.
Yeah,
I
So
thought he was going to punt him.
I really wanted him to as a kid. I ain't gonna lie. I really wanted him to. And it was like because Randy, that's when Randy like started tapping into the apex predator. So he really wasn't that vicious as he was when he was bald. And for him to like to
Ball
do that
Randy,
call back
Ball Randy was
and
savage.
him trying to kill Christian, like I was like, all right, yeah, bro, this
Hmm.
is peak. I'll get this at a 9.
I'll give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's a fair rating to me. Yeah, this is a
And
really
of
good show.
course, obviously, we all know who stole the show. Obviously, you already said it.
I'm
So,
gonna say I ain't gonna lie, just because of his personal ties, because around that time, Money in the Bank. This was by far the second Money in the Bank in history pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that being the second one, following the first one, which was phenomenal as well. And even though, like we said, that one boring match was the Edge and Christian one, but like you said, the ass whooping set it off to probably the match of the year or decade, if we all are arguing on that. I'm going to say 9.5 just because of that as well. I mean, I know I rated that Edge and Christian a 2, but like I said, the ass whooping and then the John Cena match was the nail in the coffin for me. And then, like I said before, the SmackDown ladder match was probably the best one over the Raw. And the Raw one, like I said, has some good key moments too. It was just the wrong winner. We have that one match I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to get in trouble. It was great too. And then the Big Show and shut up, Jojo. Then the Big Show and Mark Henry match was, like I said, that could have been on a regular Monday night or some shit, but it was still a little entertaining. So
I think because of the ending of that match, they're like, I feel like that. I think that's why they
yeah,
felt like it was pay-per-view quality.
and once again, Dre too. I felt like the ending of that match and the Edge and Christian match sort of saved it and boosted the rating up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like y'all said before, the Hall of Pain, that was when it began. So yeah, I said 9.5.
I'm about to go listen to that song too when we get off.
Right.
What?
Yeah, me too. All right, fellas, this was fun. I appreciate y'all. Anything else y'all want to add before we get up off of here?
On just two things. Number one, Jojo was amazing working with you today. Hopefully, we get some more shows in.
Yeah.
And number two, Marv, let's just make sure we all run this show up, please.
I got you.
We haven't had a wrestling show in a long time, so again, thank you for allowing me to be a part of it.
Oh, no problem, y'all. So
Yeah, man, same.
the next episode will be Dre's picking of a pay-per-view. Do you have one yet, or you want to wait?
I'm still going to search through.
Okay, so we'll get
So
with y'all.
give me like 20, 30 minutes, then I'll send it in the group chat because I'm about to go through all of it right as soon as we get off.
All right. So like, comment, subscribe, go follow each and every one on their social media platforms, y'all. We appreciate y'all. Like I said, thank you for rocking with us. We love y'all. Peace, love, and all that shit.